All right, we're glad to have you back. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has been declared the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party for the 2019 presidential election.
Now, this was at the party's elective convention in Rivers State. Ovieteme George has details of that.
The People's Democratic Party elective convention started in the early hours of Sunday with delegates from different states taking turns to cast their ballot in an election which had 12 aspirants vying for the party's presidential ticket.
37.
At the end of the contest, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar scored 1,532 votes to defeat Sokoto Governor Aminu Tambuwal, who garnered 693 votes.
I wish to declare His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar GCON is elected as the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party.
We have just been, elected. So you should give us time to plan our strategies and then we can get back to you.
But again, the Northwest has 18 million votes. Can you capture that votes?
Why not? We can divide those votes. We can split the votes. It has been done before. So what is there? Yes, we can.
One of the leaders of the party, Raymond Dokbesi, and Bayelsa State Governor and also Chairman PDP Reconciliation Committee are calling for party unity for a resounding victory.
The delegates have spoken and they have selected a man who understands our country, a man who has the requisite experience, who has the requisite reach out. He understands this country, he understands the Niger Delta, and he can build bridges of understanding, bridges of unity, and he has the capacity to raise a team to address the challenges that are facing our country. It's a job that all the fellow contestants and other leaders, including me, and all governors need to support for the sake of our party, but most importantly for the sake of our country.
I pray that the members of the party will rally around the presidential candidates now, and they will work with him to give Nigerians the dividends of democracy.
The sound of jubilation rents the air here at the Adokia Mesimaka Stadium, where Atiku Abubakar has been declared winner of the PDP elective convention, and that means he will be flying the party flag at the 2019 presidential elections when he takes on incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari in what political pundits may call the Battle of the North. Ovieteme George, TVC News, Omagwa, River State.
Yes, Ovieteme George there. With other reporters, we had so many, of course, on the ground there.
He's always very dramatic when you get to that
and very
level of
passionate
things.
about things there. Well, we have Prince Segun Seriki joining us. He's a PDP chieftain to look at the outcome of this presidential primaries that held in Port Harcourt there. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
On the show.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, so the PDP now has a presidential candidate. Tunde Bakari of the Lateran Assembly has said this is going to be a battle between two eagles of equal strength.
Well, I agree to the level of battle of eagles. The equal strength, I don't agree. Because Nigerians are going to decide. Fundamentally, this PDP primaries has rekindled hope in our democratic process. It has given Nigerians the hope that all is not lost and that no matter the problem we are in presently, it could be resolved within the democratic process. And it has brought the 2019 election into becoming very exciting and interesting in determination of the life of Nigerians, because the emergence of Atiku Abubakar as the PDP flag bearer has taught us a lot of lessons. It has taught us lessons in resilience, and commitment to resolved vision. It has taken him persistence to become what has now happened today, and it is going to give Nigerians opportunity to redress whatever has been aching them in the governance of their country. It is a victory for Nigerians, and it is victory for Democrats, because more importantly, that election has been adjudged to be very free, fair, and transparent, which also shows that the idea of foisting leaders on Nigerians is unfortunate. It means Nigerians can decide what is good for them without a predetermined outcome.
So you think the process was as important as the outcome?
The credible process is fundamentally of importance.
Okay.
Well, talking about transparency and openness and all of that, one could see or even feel the transparency in the process somehow. But what did they do differently from the previous presidential elections, where people come out of, so sometimes storm out of the convention? Remember the convention of 2014, and a lot of people were unhappy, and then they left the convention ground.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that you said you can feel it. You see,
from the reports we
truth is empirical. It is only pretense and dishonesty that makes us to color falsehood in the garb of truth. When you see what is real, you can feel it. Unlike previous situations where governors are being expected to deliver a whole state, it gives the impression that the people of that state are morons. But in this context, people had opportunity to decide according to their conscience. There is no commissioner next to the person that is writing or making the vote, which is very, very uncalled for. So it was so transparent, everybody could see. And even the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar will feel fulfilled to have been elected by some people. He will feel committed not to disappoint them. So you see, when we have people in government disappointing us, it's because we didn't put them there. So ab initio, they are not accountable to us. They owe their allegiance to certain things they know, which we don't know. So it's like democracy against ourselves.
Yeah, and well, there were reports that this, process was not devoid of vote buying, if you like.
Yes, I think as a people,
yes,
we dwell more on what is not realistic and what doesn't concern us as a people.
What is not realistic?
What is not realistic is to ask poor people not to be enticed with money. If the government of this country had painstakingly liberated...
In this case, we're not even talking about poor people now. These are delegates.
Nigerians are majorly poor, no matter the classification. I was talking with somebody the other day. He said there is an executive poverty. When you have a house, you cannot power your generator, you are poor.
Executive poverty.
You are poor. You see, the government has screwed issues in such a manner that Nigerians cannot stand still. Their decisions are colored by considerations aside of what is being considered. So when people are talking about vote buying, bribing voters, it is like we are confirming the fact that we are under bad leadership. So those are issues that we will solve as democratic dividends are being made available to people. You talk about graduates of 10 years without employment, and you talk about as a graduate. What graduate is he? He will be bribed with peanuts. So fundamentally, those are the Nigerian problems we need to solve. But more importantly, even when they bribe, and people still choose to do what is reasonable, we should consider this country lucky, and we should take advantage of that luck before it becomes irreversible. We can't continue working like this without progress for Nigerians, and we expect probity.
All right. We understand that all the presidential aspirants were given the room to nominate 4 persons, 2 persons into the accreditation committee and then 2 persons into the electoral committee, which gave room for that transparency. Now, one would say that because PDP is not in power, so it was easy to come up with that so that everyone can be, everyone can be on the same table. By the time they have power, it might be different. What do you say?
Yeah, that's a possibility. But I would love to look at it from the angle that PDP is doing a receipt. They have failed an exam before. And luckily for PDP, the current government of APC are remodeling the errors of PDP instead of correcting it. If PDP has another chance, it is only reasonable and logical to expect them to avoid the pitfalls that ruined their earlier showing.
Yeah.
And more importantly, with a founding father of the party, like Atiku Abubakar, coming on board, and you see, each time they talk about Abubakar changing parties, they are trying to confirm the frustration of the man in what is happening in PDP, which is against the thinkings of the founding fathers of the party of which he was a member. So now that he has come, this is an opportunity for former Vice President Atiku Abubakar to bring to life the thinkings of the founding fathers, which were purely democratic and pro-people.
A lot of the president's aides, since the emergence of Atiku, have been saying, oh, the emergence of Atiku has actually made it a lot easier for Buhari to have an easy ride come 2019. They've been putting the big question mark of integrity and credibility, on
the discourse.
Exactly, on the person actually of Atiku Abubakar saying, making all kinds of claims and all of that about his inability to visit the United States, for example. As president, will he be able to visit the United States?
What is actually the integrity of a head of a home that cannot put food on the table of the family?
Okay.
You see, our business with our leaders are basically about improving our lifestyle. If a motorcycle driver that is pious is asked to come and drive a train, the owners of the trains are foolish. Our business, like the Americans said during the Clinton-Monica whiskey saga, is that they hired this president to work.
Not a pope.
What is our business with what he's doing with a useless woman?
Oh.
That's what they said. You're not getting my point.
Okay,
so
what? We'll put you on hold.
Let's put you on hold.
Yes.
We'll come back to dwell more on this. We'll go for the news update now. It's time for the news update, and we'll be discussing this more when we come back. And we'll hand over now to Gocho Libo, who is standing by to take us on the news shortly.
Many thanks, Ngozi and Mike. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, says he is confident of getting block votes in the north to brighten his chances of emerging victorious in the 2019 election. The former vice president scored 1,532 votes to defeat Aminu Tambuwal, who garnered 693 votes. And the later Atiku stated this while speaking to journalists shortly after being declared winner at the PDP elective convention in Rivers State. And President Muhammadu Buhari is the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress for the 2019 presidential election. About 7,000 delegates affirmed the president as the party's flag bearer at the APC National Convention. In his acceptance speech, President Buhari defended his performance as well as his party's since taking power in 2015. Meanwhile, former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, will test his popularity at the 2019 poll as he emerged the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party. Duke pooled 812 votes to defeat his rival, former Minister of Information, Professor Jerry Ghana, who got 611 votes at the party's national convention held in Abuja. Duke, in his acceptance speech, described his emergence as a collective victory for all aspirants that contested the party and the nation. As political parties make last-minute moves to meet the INEC deadline for submission of candidates list, Isaac Ositelu has emerged as Accord Party's flag bearer for the 2019 presidential election. His candidature was affirmed via voice note at a national convention in Abuja, where he was the only aspirant. The party is confident of victory in 2019, which will be the first election the party would be fielding a presidential candidate. The former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, has formally declared her intention to run for the office of the President of Nigeria. Ezekwesili will be contesting on the platform of the Allied Congress Party of Nigeria. She affirmed that her presidency would be anchored on a return to strong values, human capital development, sound policies, and institutional reforms. And that's the news. Back now to Ngozi and Mike.
Thank you, Gochi. Yeah. All right, we still have Prince Segun Seriki, PDP chieftain, talking about the outcome, of course, of the PDP presidential primary that held in the last 48 or so hours. And we're talking about the question of integrity, yes.
Yes, like I was trying to explain, in my own mind, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is not only a man of proven integrity, he is very transparent with provable wealth. You see, the majority of those who are alleging lack of integrity to this man are people of questionable wealth, or at best, pretending to be pious and surrounded by wolves. You see, in Nigeria, we need to be very sincere with ourselves. In the particular instance of Atiku Abubakar, I had known him now since 1991 when I was in the Federal House. As at that time, Atiku Abubakar had been a billionaire because he was the founder of Nicotes. But one thing that was striking to me about him then, because I knew him when he was Executive Director of Finance, Nicotes, he's a pragmatic goal-getter for the owner of a company to refuse to be the managing director of that company and become executive director. That means he pursues what is important and not irrelevant. I commend Nigerians to pursue what is important, because as at that time, majority of people who are now talking have not even got 1,000 naira or 1,000,000 naira in their account. A lot of them were in service. They have retired and become governors and become multi-billionaires. They were people of untraceable background. So when they are now telling us, having used that emotion to get to authority and been unable to solve the problem of the country for years, and they are still saying we buy that kind of integrity that makes us hungry, that leads to the massacre of our people, that leads to our not being able to stand as human beings, as a people, that divides us as a diverse tribal nation. What integrity are we talking about?
All right. We hear that the party PDP is giving automatic tickets to all the aspirants who contested at the presidential primaries. And we know especially that for governors Senate and for Senate, those from their states, as the case may be, all the aspirants, some persons have emerged from all of those using those tickets already. So if you're going to give automatic tickets to them one way or the other, wouldn't that lead to a lot of rancor within the party?
Yes, I'm aware of what you have just said, but even in the possibility of that being the situation, you see, it's a function of how they go about it and how they convince the candidates. Because there is provision for substitution of candidates in our statute. And if we are united about the Nigerian project, concessions will be given, understanding will be requested. Those are fundamental issues for the party to sort out. But I will disagree with the party if they are not able to carry the present candidates along, which I think shouldn't be too difficult. Because one point that is germane is that the coloration of PDP as a political party has changed since yesterday. Atiku Abubakar being a bridge builder, destabilized Nigerian, has created a sense of hope that you really don't need what you are focusing now because you are likely to be a part of a bigger Nigerian. So, you see, the fact that it was even Atiku Abubakar will make it a lot easier.
Okay, so now the issue of restructuring is going to be a major decider of who eventually becomes president in 2019. At least that's what a lot of people have been saying, including the Afeni Ferry and the rest of them. But let's even talk about an equally important issue now, which is choosing a running mate. How tough is it going to be for Atiku to actually choose a running mate? And how is it going to navigate in such a way that it will not, shake the table, overturn this peaceful, mien that seems to hold in the PDP right now?
The truth of the matter is that the table is already shaken. So Atiku is coming to settle the table.
Okay.
It can't be worse than what we are going through presently.
How is it going to do that?
Whichever way he does it is bringing us out of calamity. We are in problem as we are as a nation now. So the issue of how to rescue ourselves from this self-imposed calamity is the main issue.
What would you recommend if you were in a position to advise him and say, look...
I would recommend that he picks his running mate from the southern Nigeria.
South Nigeria.
Southern Nigeria.
Southern Nigeria could be
between
the
obviously, it has to be southern Nigeria.
You see...
But where in the south?
Let's be honest with ourselves, and let me seize this opportunity to take advantage of what is necessary for us to do as a nation.
Yes.
We, as a nation, propelled by the journalists, should refrain from irrelevance and let us face the issues. Let's leave issues that doesn't improve our well-being for those that are bothered.
Are you saying, in essence, that it will not matter if he chooses his running mate from the south-south or the southeast?
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to say. You see, he has provided a credible candidature.
Okay.
It is only a defective candidature that is supported by the coloration of the running mate. Atiku Abubakar has provided a credible candidature, is a pan-Nigerian. He is assuring to all tribes because the buck stops on the table of the president.
Yeah, but the point there is we can't run away from the way our politics is run right now. And also seeing it from the window that PDP is still in opposition is going to need a formidable, you have said he's a credible candidate already. He's going to need another credible candidate as a running mate.
That's why I'm saying it has happened in this country before. We have had a Muslim ticket, which is somehow unthinkable. Let's leave this issue of running mate and focus on policies of government. Let's focus on how we get out of this quagmire we find ourselves. Whoever he picks as running mate is going to be secondary to the authority of the president.
You don't think it will have an impact on his chances for 2019?
I don't think so.
Are you really saying that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Except we are not very sincere about the opportunity the 2019 election is going to provide for us as a nation to redress a lot of things that we have variously and severally been complaining about.
Yes, but all those issues we're complaining about are at the level of governance. It is until you get the power that you can talk about addressing those issues. At this level now, it is politics and politicking. We don't have all the time right now, but basically, Prince, what is going to be the message of PDP to Nigerians right now? You mentioned
what should be the issues?
Exactly. You mentioned earlier on, they've made a mistake, they wrote an exam and failed. Now they're coming back. What is going to be that message that Nigerians can buy into?
Yeah.
The message is starting from that convention that this is a reformed PDP that is going to be democratic, that is going to be law-abiding, that is not going to be autocratic, that is going to put the interest of the people above sectional and selfish interests. And those are things that they should, as a party, particularly in the leadership, endeavor to start letting Nigerians have a feel of.
The PDP has been talking about restructuring. That has been on the front burner of national. No, the PDP. Atiku himself also has re-echoed the issue of restructuring. Should that be the first thing he should implement if he becomes president in 2019, so that whatever economic policies or socio-economic policies that he has can actually succeed?
I think the truth is Atiku Abubakar was talking about restructuring as addendum to multivarious economic policies. Because if you are conversant with his approach to the issue of restructuring, it wasn't making it as a cogent issue that will be dwelling in government. He said he has the capacity to divulge authority. And if he can delegate authority and make all tribes feel carried along, those are mundane things that should have been done. It is because of the nepotic setting that we are under that makes it a fundamental issue.
Okay.
Atiku Abubakar would trivialize the issue of restructuring because he would do the needful. He doesn't have the capacity to arrogate unreasonably authority to himself or his clansmen.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
We'll wait to see how these things play out. Prince Segun Seriki, PDP chieftain, thank you very much for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, still to come on the show this morning, the global price of crude oil, Nigeria's main revenue earner, has been shooting up from about $40 per barrel when the Buhari administration took over. Crude oil now sells for more than $80 per barrel.
Better days ahead for Nigeria? Is that what is happening? Well, we'll talk about that next on the program. Stay with us now.